Guys, we gotta pour one out today for our boy Doggy, aka Captain Komamura, cause after this episode, he's done. But I will say, I think they did Komamura justice in this episode. I think they did. I remembered this scene very specifically from the manga. And I always thought that it was a pretty damn cool scene and a cool idea, honestly. And I think the anime executed it pretty damn well, if you ask me. So, let's just get straight into it today and let's talk about Komamura and his humification transformation. And Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, Part 2, Episode 4 today. So as our episode begins today, where our last one left off, we jump straight into despair as we see that the Quincy's now have their full power at their disposal now that they don't have the Soul Reaper's Bankais anymore. And it's here as we transition to Bambietta transformed here. Shinji don't realize how bad of a situation this is as he tells her, yeah, you transformed, but everything's still reversed. But that is irrelevant as she sends him flying. And as our boy's laying there, she tells him, if I can't tell up from down, left or right, then I'll just destroy everything all at once. It's irrelevant. She's not called the Explode for nothing. But it's here we see Komamura saves him at the last second, which is exactly what she wanted. And it's in this moment we see Momo actually try to get a sneak attack in on Bambietta. But that's what she wants, as Komamura actually has to go save her right here. As he tells her that was reckless. Her bombs can't be nullified by your Tomiumi. Nor can they be blocked without a shield or armor. As Bambietta comes up behind him and says, they can't even be blocked, huh? You talk as if that bucket on your head can block it. And as she hits him with a giant explosion, she says, wow, you sensed something was wrong and you moved your head. How very smart. Is that animal instincts? And it's here she explains to them that my bombs can't be guarded against. I'm not firing reishi bombs at you. Anything I fire my reishi into turns into a bomb. Trying to swat them away won't do you any good. And it's here she lets loose on Komamura, just bombarding him with these bombs. But as the smoke clears, we get quite a surprising scene, guys, as we see he's in his human form right now. As she says, why are you not a dog anymore? And it's here we're going to get into the jinka technique, or the humification transformation. Because it's here as we transition to Komamura talking to the elder of his clan, which he went to talk to at the end of episode 1. He explains it to him. As he says, we werewolf clan were sent to the animal realm for the sins we committed during our past lives. But even that wasn't enough. So we returned back to the Soul Society. And it's here he explains that by temporarily breaking the chains of sins that bind us, we can return to our forms before we were condemned to being beasts, aka their true forms, allowing them to gain immense power. But it's here as Komamura asks him what he can do to obtain this power. There is a huge catch to it, as the elder tells him. Offer your heart. With your own hand, tear out your heart. Offer it to me, and I will bestow the jinka technique upon you. And this is quite a heavy thing to be told, believe it or not, as the elder tells him, I can't blame you. You have no obligation to throw your life away for the Soul Reapers. But Komamura tells him, yes, I do. As he tells the elder, I shamelessly abandoned my clan because I couldn't stand to live a life of hiding. But Master Genryusai took me in. I owed a huge debt for that. but the Quincy's killed him, and I must do whatever it takes to avenge his death. And with that determination burning in him, he rips his heart out. And that brings us back to the present, as he tells Momo, take Shinji and leave. And it's here, with no options left, we just hear Bankai. Kyojo Tengen Myoo. Danga Gyo. As the armor on his Bankai shatters, and we see its true form right here. And it's here, without wasting any time, our fight begins. And it's here as Bambietta starts bombarding his Bankai, we see that it starts regenerating. As she says, what the hell is happening? And it's here Komamura explains to her that Kokujo Tengen Myoo is an armor Bankai imbued with life. Dangai Joyu is its form stripped of armor, exposing only its spiritual pressure and power. And it's here as the fight continues, try as she might, she can't really do much about it, as she says. If your spiritual pressure is exposed, then so are your weaknesses. And it's here we see Komamura is still taking damage, but he tells her, don't you get it? Becoming a bomb and exploding is only frightening when something is alive. Without life, there isn't a shred of fear in that. As he tells her, Tengen Myoo's life lies within its armor. Dangai Gyo is Tengen Myoo stripped of life. But she still doesn't get it, as she tells him, I just had your Bankai. I know how it works. As she hits his Bankai. As she says, see, your Bankai might be okay if it's destroyed, but you won't be. But as the smoke clears and we see the hole in Komamura's chest, she finally starts to get it, as he tells her, my body is now an empty shell. It is nothing more than a vessel to defeat your people. My clan's secret technique allows us to temporarily gain immortal bodies by offering our hearts. As long as I am in this human form, I will never perish. And it's here, upon realizing that she's fucked in this fight, she literally runs! But it's far too late for that. As she says, are you saying you gave your life? Aren't you fighting because you don't want that to happen? If you throw your life away to fight, then what's even the point of winning? But Komamura tells her flat out, I didn't throw anything away. I simply staked it. Genryusai staked his life on this war. So why would I not do the same? Before I even stepped into this battle, I had already left my life behind. As he absolutely eviscerates Bambietta. And it's here as we transition to the Elder. He says, well done, Sajin. You truly are one of us. When I see you now, you make me proud. And it's here as we transition back to Bambietta. We see exactly what happens to her. It ain't pretty. As we see Tengen Myoo is driving her own bombs into her own body before they can detonate. So not only does she take the force of his attack, but she takes hers as well. And she is done for the count. Komamura has defeated her. And it's here as he looks at Bach sitting in the distance. He marches straight towards him, a literal dead man walking. But unfortunately, things don't always go as he plans. As in this moment, his Bankai shatters. As he says, damn it, not yet. I need you to hold out just a little longer. And it's here as he's fighting with everything he has to keep going. We just hear the Elder say, very good, Sajin. Have you realized yet that those feelings you have now is a desire for revenge? That you're throwing your life away for revenge? The very thing you had told your friend that he was doing? As he tells him, that's okay. Revenge is our clan's true form. You have finally come back to our clan. And it's here as Komamura starts forcefully turning back into his beast form. He realizes what's happening as he says, so this is the price I must pay, huh? As the elder tells him, your life as a human will soon come to an end. You will become a beast of revenge. Let your anger reach its very limit. Curse your lot. I will sip your dark resentment and live on. My dear Sajin, thank you for doing this for me. You became a beast that cannot speak, just for me. As we see the elder eats his heart right here. As we see he fully turns back into a wolf. And while he's lying there, he thinks to himself, so this is the price of selling my soul for revenge. The price I paid for not taking the words I said to Tosin as a warning to myself. But it's here in Komamura's darkest moment. We see his lieutenant, Tetsuzaimon, appear, throw him on his back, and say, let's go, Captain. You haven't done anything wrong. Let's fight. Let's go and kill that bastard Yawash and avenge Master Genryusai. As we see that the heart of a wolf still lives on. And it's here as we transition throughout the battlefield to all the quincies. We see that Uryu appears before them. And as we transition to Bambietta, she can't believe she was defeated by a Soul Reaper. Because she was. She's in no condition to fight. But it's here in this moment, as her fellow Stern Ritters surround her, they tell her, here, let's help you. We'd be so lonely without you after all, Bambi. And it's here, realizing what's gonna happen, she begs them not to help. But it's far too late. And we will get into this very soon, guys. Just know, shit's gonna get pretty crazy soon. We'll leave it at that. And it's here as we transition back to Jagrum and Shunsui about to face off. He suddenly stops, as Jagrum says, so it's time, huh? As he says, His Majesty is waiting. As Shunsui says, you're leaving after coming this far? When will you be back? As Jagrum tells him, as soon as the order is given. As Shunsui tells him, I'll be waiting for you with some fine tea next time. And with that, he leaves for now. And it's here as we transition back to Mas de Masculine, or Stern Rider S. We see that he has completely wiped the floor with Ikaku and everyone else there. And it's here as he's standing triumphantly over his defeated enemies. He gave him a 3 count after all. We suddenly see 2 entities falling from the sky in quite a dramatic way. As he says, man, what do you think, James? As James tells him, man, they made quite a shiny spectacle as they descended. So taking them out would put you in the spotlight. As he decides, alright, I'm heading there right now to go fight them, see who they are. But it's here before he leaves, we see Shuhei grabs him with his chain and says, you think you beat us just because you got a 3 count? As he literally grabs his chain, pulls it, clotheslines him, and says, yeah, I think I did. And right before he's about to stomp him out, he gets stopped by Kensai, who says, you got knocked out without anything to show for your training, huh? You're pathetic, Lieutenant. But we see he's not alone, as Rojiro is actually there with him. And now it's a 2-on-1 battle with 2 captains against Stern Ritter S. And it's here as we transition to our final scene of the episode. We see that Ichigo is going through it as we hear Ichigo tell him, "The weight you feel is what you are trying to protect. Everything that you see are everlasting memories and revelations. In other words, the power of the king." As we see Ichigo get bombarded with all this information all at once. And as all of this gets drawn into his body, we hear, "Are you a vessel capable of withstanding the power that fills it? Or are you a bowl that shatters?" As we see Ichigo start to become overwhelmed by everything flooding into him all at once. But he's able to withstand it. And it's here as he finally reaches the exit and stumbles into this next room. We see Senjumaru sitting there waiting for him. As Ichigo asks her, "So, what do you want me to do next?" And with that, our episode ends. And like I said, guys, we really actually haven't even gotten into like a lot of the really crazy stuff. I say that every week, but it's actually true. It's gonna get really hyped soon. Let's just say that. But man, they really did do Komamura justice in this episode, and I love that because I always liked Komamura. I always thought he was a cool character, but he never really got time to shine. And even in this arc, he really still doesn't that much. But I like that he had a good moment. Every character is going to have a moment one way or another in this arc. And I think they did his justice. So I'd love to hear your opinion on this episode down in the comments, guys. Because it was quite a fun episode, to say the least. So, until next time, guys, I hope you guys have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.